Today on Trainmaster Bob, we're going to continue our series of operations videos about the operations of the various locals on my HO scale Erie Lackawanna Memories Model Railroad. Today we're going to look at the operations of the Harmony drill. The Harmony drill performs all the local switching in the town of Harmony on my model railroad. The train originates from the yard at Lime Ridge, operates through Prosperity to Harmony. At Harmony, all of its cars for spotting will be found in the siding at Harmony, having been dropped off there by the Harmony turn. The drill will take these cars, spot them in the industries, pull the releases from the industries, switch out all the cars that go west and put them into the west track for pickup by the next day's Harmony hauler, and any cars that go east or for destinations, interchanges modeled on the layout, they will return back to Lime Ridgewood. So now, on to our Harmony drill. Our day begins with the train crew getting on engine 901. That's their assigned power today for the Harmony drill. We'll take this engine, they're going to come on out of the roundhouse with it. Go pick up their caboose and headlight over to Harmony. Harmony drill power, come out of the house, heading up the yard lead. Gonna go pick up their caboose. Next, the caboose is shoved off the tail track and towards the yard lead. The crew's going to make a runaround move and get the engine on the other end of the caboose for the trip to Harmony. Our brakeman's lined the switches, and now we're going to go back and pick up our caboose for our trip to Harmony. Got our caboose, we're going by the west side of Harmony, down the main. We're going to pull up to Northampton Street and stop to flag the crossing. Stopped at the Northampton Street crossing. Our trainman's going to get off, flag the traffic, make sure it's stopped, then we're going to proceed. Next, we pass by the team yard and the industries here at Prosperity. Head around the curve. Next we pass through Harmony's Brick Canyon. Next we pull up to the east siding switch at Harmony, and our brakeman's going to get off now and line us in. Switch is thrown and the siding we head. Our next move is pull up, and we're going to shove our caboose back into the tail track out of the way. Shove our caboose back in the tail track to leave us some switching room. Next we're going to pull up, and we're going to head for the industry tracks and start to pull our pickups. Now we're heading in onto the industry spur. We're going to pull the cars that have been released from Harmony meat packers, and we're going to shove forward, and we're going to get the empty coal cars from Griffin Brothers Coal and Fuel and come back out with them. Okay, we've shoved to a joint the boxcar and the freight house. We pulled forward and stretched them, made sure we had a hold of all the cars. And now we're getting a hand signal for the brakeman, and we're going to pull back out and go back towards the tail track. Now we're going to start shoving back towards the west track. The west track is the track that we gather up all of our pools that go west onto throughout an operating session for the Harmony turn to come and pick up and take back to the yard at Scranton, Pennsylvania. We're going to shove back into the track a ways to leave room for our other pools. Now we pull back out with our engine, cross Shades of Death Road, and next we're going to head in onto the siding and start switching out our spotters. Now we head back to the siding, and we're going to go get our pickups. Cross Shades of Death Road again, and we go to a joint. Okay, we're getting a stretch them sign from our brakeman. We're going to stretch them, make sure we get a hold of them all. Yes, we do. Okay. Now we're going to pull out. Pulled up, cleared the switch and stopped. We're getting a comeback sign. And our brakemen have us lined into the freight house. Here we watch as the Harmony drill shoves the car merchandise up to the freight house and spots it for unloading. Now we pull out the house track and we'll pull back up to the lead switch, and we're going to set the car paint for Wheeler Paints over into the siding track. Switch is thrown, we're getting a comeback sign. And we'll leave this car paint here in the siding. Now we pull out the siding and we're going to set those 2 cars of cold down the industry lead. Okay, we'll leave them here just in the clear. Okay, cut is made. We're going to pull back down the tail track, clear the industry lead switch, and next we're going to set these 2 cars for Acme Markets over into the siding. Okay, we're coupled into the car for Wheeler Paint. We're going to shove clear the crossing. Okay, the cut's made. We're going to pull out the siding now with the car meat for Harmony meat packers and the car apples for Acme. Now we're going to shove back to a joint with our coal hoppers. Now we shove our cars cold onto spot, and we pull ahead. And we're going to spot our carved dressed beef at the meat packers. We've cut away from the carved beef, and now we're pulling back out with our carved apples. We pull clear the switch, it's stopped. Now we're going to shove our carved apples back to a joint with the other 3 cars. Okay, we've got a hold of our spotters and we're going to push them around to the other side of town now and go work the Acme Market Spur. Now we shove down the siding through the backyards of the homes at Harmony, back out onto the branch main. And we stop for a switchman to line the Acme spur track. In the Acme spur today, we've got 3 empties to pick up from Acme Markets and 1 empty to pick up from Schuman's Produce. We have 2 cars go west onto the west track, and we have 2 cars to take back east to Lime Ridge with us on a return trip. Shove end to a joint. And we're getting a signal from our brakeman. We're going to shove back now to a joint with the empty from Schumann's. And stretch them, make sure we got them all. And we don't. So back again. We stretch them again. Make sure we've got them all. And we've got them. Brakeman's on. We're going to pull out. Okay, we pull out the Acme spur and stop at the switch, and now we're going to shove back. Bangor and Roosted car is an east car. It's going to go back to the Lehigh and Hudson River under connection train to Port Morris, and from there be forwarded up to New England via the New Haven Railroad. Okay, pins pulled, we're going to pull forward. The Western Pacific car and the Santa Fe car will both go into the west track for movement back westbound to Chicago connections. We set them back into the Acme spur. And the West India Fruit Steamship car is another car to go east. And we're going to come out with that and shove it against the Bangor and Roosted car. Okay, we've got a good joint. We're going to shove back. We're clear. And we're going to leave these 2 east cars on the main. Now we pull up. Clear the switch again. Going to shove back to a joint with our 2 west cars. Okay, we've shoved back to a joint. We've got them all. We're going to go ahead and pull out. Stop, clear the switch again. Now we're going to set our 2 west cars over against our 2 east cars on the main. And now we'll shove back, clear the fouling point. Just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, cut's made. We're going to come on back. And we stop, clear the switch. Switch is thrown. Now we're going to shove into the Acme Market spur. Our first job will be to spot the car paint to Wheeler paint. Tire's been spotted at the door Wheeler Paint. Now we're going to pull up and spot at Acme Markets. Doors on the Acme Market distribution warehouse here have been designed to be properly spaced for 40-foot refrigerator cars. There's spots here for 4 cars. Cut our engine off and we're heading out of the Acme Market spur, and then we're going to go back down against our cars that we set over on the main line. And we shove into a joint with our 4 cars on the main. Couple our air up, and we're going to head back around to the other side of town. We pull back into the siding track and we stop to line our switchback. Switch is lined back, brakeman's on, and we'll pull through the siding, head back over the other side of town. See the Harmony turn pulling down the siding, and we're going to stop through the crossing and cut away from our 2 east cars and leave them on the siding. Cut's made, we're going to pull ahead. We're going to pull up, clear the switches, and stop. Switches are lined into the west track. We're going to take our 2 west cars and shove them back to a joint with the cars we've already put into the west track earlier. Our engine pushes the 2 cars down the west track, across Shades of Death Road, and to a joint with the cars that are already lined up on the siding to go west. Give them a stretch. Make sure we got them all. Okay, now we're going to cut away from them. Engine's cut off, and we're going to head back out down the west track, and we're going to go into the tail track and pick up our caboose. Okay, we come to a joint with our caboose. Now we're going to pull out of the tail track with our caboose. And we stop and clear the tail track switch. Shove back down the siding and onto the main with our caboose. Brakeman's line the switch. Now we're going to head down the west end of the siding with the caboose. And then we're going to shove it to a joint with our east cars that are on the siding track. Down the main, we go past our cars that are sitting on the siding, and we pass the cars that we have switched into the west track for pickup. We go west. Pull down the main and we stop, just clear the west end siding switch. Shove our caboose into the siding. Gently come to a joint with a caboose. Now we're going to cut our engine off and run back to the west end of siding. Brakeman's line is siding switch, and we're heading back up the main line. Around to the east end of the siding. Pull down the east siding switch and stop. Okay, brakeman's lined our switch. Now we're going to go head back up into siding. And back to a joint with our train. To a joint, I'm going to shove back, clear the crossing. I'm going to sit here, clear the crossing, and we're going to do our air test. Our initial terminal air test is done. The brakemen have walked a set. The brakemen have walked a release. They've checked safety appliances. Everybody's back on the train. And now we're going to depart and head back to Lime Ridge Yard. We pull up the siding switch, wait for the brakeman to get off, line the switch. We'll head out of the siding and onto the branch main line. And next we pull up, we wait for the rear brakeman to get off, line the switch back, and then we depart. Come around the curve, out of the brick canyon at Prosperity. Next, the Harmony drill pulls up to the Northampton Street crossing at Prosperity. Headman gets off to flag the crossing, and after he's ascertained that all traffic is stopped, get our come ahead sign. He swings back on, and we proceed towards Lime Ridge. We proceed past the Industries here, the west side of Prosperity, and head into the yard lead. We pull down the yard lead, and we're going to stop on the yard lead and cut away from our caboose so we can set our 2 east cars in the track number 3. Okay, the rear man's made the cut. I'm going to pull forward. The man dropped off the engine as we went by. He has to switch line. Now we're going to shove back into track 3 with our east cars. Next move is come back. We'll pick up our caboose and put our caboose into the caboose track. Picked up our caboose, and now we're going to head down the yard lead into the tail track and then shove our caboose back into the caboose track. Okay, switches line. We're getting the comeback sign. Shove into the caboose track. Okay, we put our caboose away. And now we head back to the roundhouse. You pull up to the roundhouse lead switch. Brakeman line the switch. Stop and pick them up. He lines it back. Brakeman's line switch back on, and now we're going to pull up the roundhouse lead and leave our engine on the service track. We pull in on the service track. Spot our engine on the service track. Everyone's going to get off, go in the roundhouse. Conductor will turn his wheel report and mark switch list into the yard clerk to process. We will then give the new track list to the yard master. And the crew will make out their time slips to get paid for the day and sign off duty. And with that, we're going to sign off duty also. Hope you enjoyed this video, the operation of the Harmony drill. Remember to like the video and to subscribe to our channel. And more content can be found at trainmasterbob.com.